Welcome to Mighty Mungos! Let's start, as we always do, with the Mighty Minute!
Bobby, but that has got me pretty tired out. It's now time for our next section, which is... Nailed it.
What do you call a bird that's good at Spanish dancing?
I don't know.
Flamingo dancer.
In French, how do you say I need the toilet?
I don't know, how do you say I need the toilet in French?
Oui, oui.
What did the candle say to the other candle?
I don't know, what did the candle say to the other candle?
I'm going out tonight.
What is a fog's favourite drink? Diet Coke.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you know when people go non-handed on bikes?
Yeah.
Why don't they go bomb-handed? Like, the handles are made of bombs.
Ooh. Do you have a joke? If you do, film it landscape and send it in to mightymungos@stmungos.org, and maybe next time we'll see you on Joke of the Week.
At Mighty Mungos, we want to be known as people who are thankful. That's why we have Gratitude Attitude. Let's see who sent in their videos this week. Ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba.
I'm thankful for dandelions.
I'm thankful for flowers.
Pick flowers.
We're thankful for swimming.
And hot showers.
So, what are some of the things that you're thankful for? Film it landscape or sideways, as we like to call it here on Mighty Mungos, and send in your videos to mightymungos@stmungos.org. And maybe next time we'll see you on Gratitude Attitude.
It's time for water.
Your house on the rock. On this land you won't be knocked. Build your life on the top. Make your home upon the rock. Build your house on the rock. On this land you won't be knocked. Build your life on the top. Make your home upon the rock. Stand
Good morning, and thank you for letting me share my special psalm with you today. We've heard from lots of people about why their psalm matters to them, and mine is no different. It's just as important and as special. But before I tell you my psalm, before I read my psalm, I'd like you to picture 3 things. Do you think you can do that? First of all, I want you to picture an enormous mountain, the highest hill maybe you've ever climbed. Maybe it was a Pentland Hill or Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. Or maybe you could picture the world's tallest mountain, Mount Everest. It's huge. So that's the first thing I want you to think about. I want you to think about when you look up to that mountain, how huge it is, how big and mighty and strong it is. Okay, have you done that? Fantastic. Now, the second thing I want you to do is I want you to picture a normal day. I'm sure everyone can do that. A day when you get up and you have your breakfast and you get ready to go out. Where will you go? Are you going to nursery, playgroup, school, or are you going to work? Or maybe it's a special treat. Maybe you're going to go to the seaside and have an ice cream. But whatever it is, I want you to think about that day as you leave and then as you come home. What things have you done? And when you come home, what things will you do? Will you go and play with your toys? Will you pop yourself down and pick up a book and read a fantastic story? Or will you sit and watch some television with your family? So that's the second thing I want you to think about. What did you do in your day? And what did it feel like? And what did you do when you came back home? Now, the third thing I want you to do is I want you to imagine bedtime. You're in your bed and it's all dark and cozy and you're wrapped up snug under your covers. Now, you might be asking yourself, why does Caroline want me to think about these 3 things? Well, as I read my psalm, I want you to think about those 3 images. So let me read Psalm 121. It says, I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, and nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. So, let's go back to those 3 pictures. Did you spot some of those things in the psalm? Well, the first one, the person, the psalmist who wrote the psalm, asks, when I need help, where do I look? Do I look to the mountains? Well, let's think about those mountains. They are pretty huge, aren't they? They're not only huge, they're strong and they're powerful. But do you look to a mountain when you're needing help? Or maybe I should ask, who or what is your mountain when you're feeling like you need some help, that you've got a problem or a difficulty or a challenge or a worry that seems quite big? Who's your mountain? Is it mum? Is it dad? Is it granny? Is it your cuddly toy? Is it your pet? Who do you go to when you need help? But the psalmist doesn't say, I look to the mountain and I get huge, amazing help from the mountain. No, he says, I lift my eyes up, not to the mountains, but even higher. Because who is bigger than a mountain? Who's more strong and more powerful than a mountain? That's right, God. Because God promises to take care of us. He's stronger and mightier than any worry that we have. If you think about a mountain, when you climb all the way up to the top, it's pretty hard work, isn't it? But when you get to the top and you look down, what do you see? That's right. Everybody and everything is teeny weeny tiny, aren't they? They all look like ants. Now, when God looks down at us and we say, here's my worry, here's my problem, he doesn't see something that's huge and too difficult. He sees something small, something that is easy for him to help you with. So that's my first point. I want you to remember that when you have a problem, when you have a challenge or a trouble or a worry, because we all will, I want you to think about how amazing and strong and huge and powerful God is, and that God promises he will help us. Now, the second picture I asked you to think about, well, maybe that was a little bit more difficult. But in the Psalm it says that God will watch over us in our coming and in our going. So that's everything that we do in a day, whether we go out, whether we stay in, whatever. Now, when I was little, I remember I had this book and I borrowed it from a friend. I wish I could remember what it was called. So if anyone does know it, please tell me. But in this book, it was all cartoon pictures and there was a little person in it and they were just going about their everyday life. And one of the pictures I remember was this little character, and this little cartoon character was standing in the mirror and brushing his teeth. But when you look to the second picture, there was a picture of God sitting on the side of the bath, just waiting for the man to notice him and bring him into his day. And then later on you would see the man, the little cartoon character, sitting at the table. And then God would be sitting at one of the seats, waiting for the man to bring him in to his day. And then one of the funniest was the man was sitting in the car, sitting with his seatbelt on, and there was God sitting in the back of the car too, all seatbelted up. So my question is, do you let God into your day? It might be as simple as brushing your teeth, but do you take the time to say, hello, good morning, even thank you for my breakfast? Do you remember to bring God into your day? Because the Psalm tells us that God is part of our coming and our going, and he watches over us. And when I was little, I remember having read that book. When I walked down to school, I used to have a little conversation, a little chat with God. It didn't have to be out loud. It was kind of in my head. But I would welcome him into my day. And then I would talk to him, even at the simplest of times, whether I was brushing my teeth, whether I was putting on my shoes, whether I was doing some schoolwork and I was enjoying it, or maybe it was a bit difficult. But I tried to remember to bring him in to everything in my day. And grown-ups, you too, I want you to remember that you need to do that too. We all need to do it. We still need to remember. And maybe if it helps you to think about that book, that God is sitting at the side of the bath while you're brushing your teeth. He just wants to be invited in. He wants to share your day. Now, the third picture I gave you was of a little baby perhaps, or you lying in bed, all cozy and snug as a bug in a rug. Now, when my children were little, in fact, when they were babies, I used to love watching them as they slept. Well, we all know babies sleep at all times of the day. It doesn't have to be bedtime. But when they were sleeping, I would love watching them, their little smiles as they were dreaming. And then if their little arm popped out of their covers, I would just lift up the covers and I would tuck them back in to keep them safe and warm. And Psalm 121 tells us that God never sleeps. He never slumbers. He's not like Dad or Grandpa who sit watching the telly with you and when you turn round they're nodded off and fast asleep. No, God never sleeps. He never nods off. He watches over you all the time. And he loves to, just like your mummy or your daddy or your grandparents would watch over you when you were little. They just love watching over you, and they love keeping you safe and looking after you. So God loves to look over you in your whole day and as you sleep at night, and he takes care of you. So that's Psalm 121. But the best thing about a psalm is this: you don't just get to keep it to yourself. You can give the psalm away. Once you love it and you know all about it, you can give it to someone else. And years ago, when my mum had to go into hospital, I thought about this psalm and I gave it to my mum and dad. And I said to them, why don't you take this psalm so that when you go into hospital and when you're sleeping at night, you can remember that God is there for you. No matter how difficult or hard that time may feel, God is with you. He's with you in every part of your day, and he's going to watch over you all through the night. So maybe if you like that psalm, you can keep it to yourself for a bit, but you can also give it away.
He puts a smile on my face. He is my God. Psalm 42, verse 5.
He puts a smile on my face. He is my God. Psalm chapter 42, verse 5.
And your memory verse for this week is, drum roll please.
Our true help and protection is only from the Lord. Psalm 121, verse 2.
Good morning and welcome to Mighty Mungos News. I've got two things to tell you about today. The first is that bookings for our June events are open. If you've not booked a place, get onto that quickly. The second thing is, as you can see behind me, I've got some balloons. I'm getting the hat ready, I'm getting the streamers ready, because it's just 7 days until Mighty Mungo's birthday. Thank you so much for the birthday messages that we've already received. If you've not sent yours in, get it in quickly so that we can put together next week's birthday show. And finally, here's Ella.
Hi guys, welcome back to another week and another youth member. Today we have our previous youth member, Amanda. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, hi, I'm Amanda. I'm 22 and I'm a theology student, which means I study religion and the Bible and God.
So Amanda, what do you do in your free time?
What I love to do in my free time is I love to cook some yummy food or bake something yummy and spend time with my family or my friends and just eat all the good food and have all the good chat. That's like an ideal day.
Yeah. So did you grow up in the church?
I didn't actually, no, I didn't grow up in church. I had a few Christian friends who actually came to St Mungos, so I visited Explorers a few times when I was a kid, but I didn't grow up with a faith in my household or anything like that, and I started coming on to church regularly when I was about 14, so yeah.
So if you didn't grow up in the church, was there a certain time that you became a Christian?
You know, I think actually for me, it was quite a gradual process of learning new things and understanding different concepts about Jesus and his love for us. And I think, it was a gradual process of learning more about God, learning more about what Jesus did in his life. And then, so I don't think I have a particular date or time, but I remember having a moment where I realized like, oh, I am a Christian, but it had already happened by that point. Yeah.
So I know you went to Lendrick Muir, the church's weekend away. So do you have a favourite memory from there?
You know, I do. It was actually the last Lendrick Muir that there was. There was a power cut. I don't know if anyone has heard about it. But yeah, it's a huge building, huge house, and all the power went off. And then that evening we had these like battery pack lights, and we just had the acoustic piano, and we just spent time worshipping kind of in the dark, and it was really fun. And also every bonfire. That was also fun. Yeah.
And finally, do you have a piece of advice for our viewers?
Yeah, I have a couple of pieces of advice. First piece of advice, I think is quite, you'll have heard it before, but to be yourself. You don't need to pretend to find something funny that you don't find funny or anything like that. You can really just be yourself and not feel like you have to act like anything other than you. I think that's really important. And my second piece of advice is, if you're ever having a hot chocolate, have it with whipped cream.
Thank you guys for watching this week's segment on Mighty Mungos. Make sure to tune in next week for another youth member. Bye!
Yes!
Our time together is almost over, but we just have time for Family Face-Off!
Thank you so much for joining us here at Mighty Mungos this morning. It's time for you now to go and grab a drink, grab some more snacks, grab a coffee, and
go for a wee!
and join us back here at 10:30 for the next part of St Mungo's Church Online. See you soon.